Come on. There we go. I forgot to select the stupid name of the video, and I went live on the Anyway, hi everybody. Welcome. It's Here's a problem time, where I just mount the problems as much as I can, wherever I can, however I can, as often as I can. So, big news today. BYON, which was formerly Overstock, which bought all the Bed Bath & Beyond IP, plus later from Dream On Me, the Bye Bye Baby IP, is now changing their name from Beyond to Bed Bath & Beyond, and now acquired the BBBY ticker. Now, short shills are like, ha ha ha, your ticker's dead. You ain't getting shit. But this is everything that would happen in a butterfly transaction as outlined in that IRS document. These are all the things you do to continue the business and preserve the nulls. And eventually, Class 6, last night at midnight, they basically took all debtors and just shoved them into Class 6 whether they wanted it or not. Which means payouts are coming on that. So things are getting really weird and really interesting with Bed Bath & Beyond. And DK Butterfly. And anyone else who could be associated with that. The things are tingling, chin stroking starting to happen. Stroking that chin, just pondering, wondering, imagining, speculating. And here we sit. So I think right now, I'm not twiddling thumbs. I'm pure chin stroking. So we're back to chin stroking right now. So that's threat level. Threat level is chin stroke. Other news. Japanese carry trades look like they are very, very, very tenuous at the moment. The Japanese yen is still freakishly strong with interest rates going up while the dollar gets weak. Meaning these folks can be underwater. So Japanese central bank has been bailing out banks in Japan to the tune of like once a day at the moment since end of July. So we're like at 20 straight days of them doing giant cash infusions into their banks. I don't know if or when it will trigger. It was this time last year we had like a spillover of Japanese carry trade corrections, which crashed the market 1,000 points. It seems very likely that could come again, only this time be a lot worse and more of like a flash flood than sort of a flooded parking lot at this point. So keep your eye on that. If that happens, you're going to want to have lots and lots of spy puts. What else? Oh, basically all of Europe had an emergency meeting at the White House today. Zelensky and all the major European leaders, head of the EU, etc., came and basically ganged up on Trump to get him to support Ukraine and tell Putin to go take a hike. It's rumored, not confirmed, it's rumored that the Europeans were like, we will dump your bonds and ensure no one ever buys them again, and we will crash your economy in an instant. And Trump may have listened to that. I don't know. But Trump's sort of been in the mood to crash the economy anyway. So let's see if he actually heeds that warning at all. Trump's also trying to get rid of mail-in balloting, which results in really high turnouts and gives people the best advantage to vote, especially without voting being a national holiday. He wants to pass sign an executive order banning mail-in ballots, which Trump uses to vote. He mails in his ballot. He can't do that. I mean, he can, but states don't have to listen to him because he does not have the authority to dictate how elections are held in various states. So they can do whatever the hell they want. They can elect people however they want, whenever they want, whatever. So he can't really do anything about that. He'll try, and the states go, I'm not going to do that. And the states that say, yes, I'm going to do that, they already were going to vote for him anyway. So not too much to worry about on that front, I believe. Anything else, Monkey Butt, on the floor? Anything? No? Okay, well, let's let's boop. No, boop. All right, turn off the intro. Scroll up to the top where Lone Wolf was first. Mia said first, but nope. Then she said, gotta be faster than that. Corporal Walnut, I think Cohen didn't want anything other than to hold board accountable and SPAC. Lemonis probably got shared IP so Cohen could sneak it through. Now it's over. He gets the proper IP. And Lemonis is a secret homie to Cohen. That's always been the thing. Like Lemonis says, oh, we're not doing that. That's not happening. And then it happens. He's done that several times. I have nothing to do with any of this. And then he absorbs the BBBY IP or the ticker. He does. He says one thing and then at some point a few months later does something that does the complete opposite. So that may his plan may be misdirect and then absorb all these things, misdirect and absorb all these things. So yeah, I do think that they're all spun together in this butterfly transaction and they all chit-chatted and know what's up. Jay Geyser, Texas GOP locks Democrat State Rep Nicole Collier leave the House chamber after she refused to agree to a 24/7 police escort. That sounds highly illegal and sounds like she's going to be winning a bunch of money from the state of Texas. So I'm sure all sorts of lawyers are tripping over themselves right now to represent her. Yeah, Texas needs to figure their shit out, man. They really do. Oh my God, stupid cat. One sec. Yeah, now you want to come in? Talking. Want to come in and bother me and get your drugs because that's what I completely conditioned you to do now. All right, dummy. You need to get your shit together like state of Texas. You both need to get your shit together. You know that? Okay. Don't you dare. Just lay down. Just lay down. Don't you drink my water. You drank my water last night. It was really gross. Really gross. Did not appreciate it. Brennan Wells, sub BBBY, sub No Labs. Well, BBBY is now Beyond, which is now BBBY, which is now Beyond, which is now BBBY. No Labs doesn't exist anymore. God damn it. Quit touching this shit. Stop it. Just lay down. Lay down. Right there. Right there. You, dummy. Nope. Rub your face on it. Stop rubbing your face on it. Fine. Drugs. There. That's what you really want. Yeah, that's what you really want. Quit trying to move your head there. Yeah, get in there. Okay. And No Labs no longer exists. It's now USCB. Something like that. UCSB. University of California, Santa Barbara. Something like that. So that's where that is. I have no idea what progress they're making now on their glucose monitoring device. Everything on the website's all about crypto, blah, 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 blah. You got me, dude. I gotta get Ron on here to explain it all to me. Polestar says, yo, more misplaced hopium on Beyond or what lemon piss has shown to be nothing but a grifter. I honestly don't know. I think Overstock Beyond is part of this butterfly transaction. I really do. They've got a giant retail footprint. They've got infrastructure, warehouse network, etc. And you can buy the entire company for like $400-500 million. So if you are GameStop and you want to make a Berkshire type conglomerate, you scoop up all this stuff. So don't you dare. I see your little head thinking about it. Look right here. Your butthole is full of catnip where you're sitting. Look, fatso right here. Look at that. Look at it right here. Look at all this. Just right there. Turn around. Yeah, right there. Get. Now you just want to rub on things. I get it. Okay. You're feeling it. You want to rub. That's where you are. All right. Polestar also says, I have most of these tinfoil BBYQ people blocked at this point. If I see another darn clock, I swear to mommy mum. You know, to me, I do think Ryan Cohen does little messages and things. I do think he does. I'm terrible at deciphering them. So if it comes to deciphering them, trust somebody else to do it, because I will not see the connection in any way, shape, or form. I do think that they read into a lot of things that are not supposed to be a mystery of any kind. But they, it keeps them busy. There are a lot of numerology conspiracy weirdos who it's not really my thing. But I do think there's a connection between Ryan Cohen, the BBBY shell, the decayed butterfly shell, and the IRS document about how that butterfly transaction, reverse merger, and SPAC, all that stuff works. So I think that's still happening. Hot Pocket Rebel, your thoughts on Hurricane Aaron? Hurricane Aaron went from a tropical storm to a Category 5 storm in 16 hours? Absolutely insane. Everyone's lucky that it's just brushing these islands, and then it's going to head up the coast. It's going to make for some amazing surf on the East Coast. So if you're an East Coast surfer, dude, it's going to be awesome. And then hopefully it'll just spin itself out to sea. I've not seen the latest. No, don't you do it. Stop being annoying and just go to sleep. National Hurricane Center. Bing. Aaron, nope, stop it. All right. This is the arc. All right, so it's going to be a hurricane for quite a while here. Boom. Chrome. Don't you do it, cat. I know you're thinking about it. Don't you do it. Boom. So, going to make for awesome surf all over the place. I bet my brother wishes he was still in Nova Scotia, because they would just be getting beautiful, beautiful breaks. So, yeah, it's brushing all these islands, bringing lots of rain. The Virgin Islands got like 4 inches of rain yesterday. But for the most part, it's going to be missing everybody. It may bring a pretty major storm into don't you dare, the UK and Ireland as a result. What? You want more? You want more? I have more right here. Is this what you want? Yeah. We're sitting down here and pretend like I am giving you more drugs. Jeez Louise. Little crackhead. Yeah, there you go. So anyway, the fact that it became such a giant hurricane in such a few number of hours is what is really concerning everybody at this point. Yeah, so you can see here, there's the track, and this is a Mercator projection, so it kind of makes England look way bigger than it really is. But this will probably trend yonder into possibly UK or mainland Europe, and bring them all sorts of delicious rainy weather. Hopefully it breaks south and can give some relief to Spain, Portugal, France, and get those fires they got going down. But yeah, I think that's the only major storm we have at the moment. We got a development area here. So this guy looks like it's going to develop into a storm. 60% chance of cyclone formation in the next 7 days. So this dude looks like it's going to move this way, turn into a storm just like Aaron, and then hopefully bend the same way and not destroy everybody. We don't have a working FEMA anymore, so we have no emergency management whatsoever. So we do not want to have any storms hitting anywhere in the United States, because we're not going to fix anything at this point. So, Papa Rebel, how did I could get some? Serious ocean overwash. Oh yeah, big waves. Jason Blackwell, Houston. Today Trump said that Melania loves her son much more than I do. Lol. That's funny. Kelly Reed. Happy birthday, HW. Now Airbnbs let you pay later on vacation rentals. Signs of a healthy economy, folks. Yeah. Some weird things going on. So yeah, Airbnb is letting you reserve now, pay later. So just imagine how many Airbnb hosts are going to get stiffed. Because I think it is, when you show up for your reservation, you're supposed to pay then. But how many people will reserve and just never show up? Right? Oh, if I reserve now and I'll come up with the money by the time I've got to go. And then they don't have the money, so they aren't going to pay for it. And then you have Nelnet, like the big giant student loan company, just bought $26 billion in buy now, pay later debt from, what's that company? The one that is doing like do payment plans on your burrito. Whatever that one's called. That is a giant block of unsecured debt for really nominal amounts that I think they must have sold that debt at a gigantic discount. So that company should be losing money like crazy. It's very weird to think that people who have to buy burritos on layaway are also the ones who have giant student loan debt with Nelnet. If this makes Nelnet go down in the end, I'm all for it. Nelnet should die. Great Lakes Borrower should die. Mohana should die. Sally Mae should die. They should all just die in a fire. And we move on with our lives. Can I read? Reverse repo might hit $0 this week. Dry like the Sahara out there. D3689. I hope we get our big win soon. Oh, dude, it's like a trickle coming down, and what I want is the flash flood. Like I love little tiny debris flows here and there. You know, water's pooling in some places, but I want to feel the earth shake, and then just this wall of water flooding down and hitting us. That's what we need. Rose Productions. Putin, while visiting Trump, lost all his gains in Donetsk this weekend. His summer offensive is a bust. There are American military still pushing Ukraine. It can't win narrative. Yeah. So I don't know if you saw in Donetsk, they had these motorcycle brigades. Actually, they're on like electric scooters. It's kind of hilarious looking. They broke through the defenses and got into these fallback trenches of the Ukrainians, and they did it just before Putin's meeting. And Putin was like, "Hey, look at this! We were kicking their ass and taking their land." The Ukrainians blocked them all off, and then all those dudes died. And now the Ukrainians actually made a push in exactly where that was because Russians didn't have enough personnel to keep it or to supply them with bullets or anything else. Video footage came out this morning of the bodies, and I don't recommend watching it. It came across my feed, and it is horrific. I mean, we're just talking thousands and thousands and thousands of shredded apart, decaying bodies on roads and trenches. It is horrific to watch. And I will probably have nightmares about that. But yeah, the Russians they're running out of things right now. And they really, 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 really need Trump to give them everything that they've taken so far so that a ceasefire can happen and they can rearm and figure out a new strategy. Because as long as they have to keep chugging away at this, they can't rearm, and they can't create a new strategy. They're going to be stuck doing the same stuff over and over again, just meat waves of people. Over 1 million Russians, like 1.1 million Russians now are dead in Ukraine. That is more than all wars the U.S. has been involved in combined. Right? Americans have been in a lot of wars in the last 250 years. Right? You add up all of the dead Americans and all of those wars over the last 250 years, you do not reach the number of Russians dead in Ukraine in the last 3. So that's not a win for Russians. They are absolutely wiping out their young male base, their young male demographic. So there's gonna be a lot of really, really, really desperate Russian mail order brides when this is over. Just so you know, if you're a lonely man who wants to have a miserable life, you can find yourself some Russian mail order brides. Okay. Nebas, best part of the day right here. Welcome. Polestar also says, gotta read, every ad I see is some sort of payday loans or debt defer payments. One ad was showing a guy taking out a loan for a bag of chips. Like, yeah, I'll put my car down as collateral. I just need these Cheetos. Kicadian 4054 Houston. Have you tried Battlefield 6 yet? They had an open beta these past 2 weekends, and we have one more the following weekend. You should join my squad. I have not. Battlefield 6 is too zoomer for him. I've been too busy with my Solitaire tournaments, just kicking ass in that. But I don't know, maybe Battlefield 6 will be the video game I buy this year. We'll find out. Oh shoot, I just had that just reset and I lost my spot. Okay. First day productions, I saw a Russian propaganda video today with a Russian BTR driving in combat with a Russian American flag. What's this about? That is a war crime. If you are flying the flag of a nation that is not your nation in war, that is a violation of the Geneva Conventions. You can look it up. Find it right here. Flying other nations flag, war crime, Geneva Conventions. Okay. Using enemy nation's flag while engaging in attacks to shield military operations prohibited by the Geneva Conventions and customary international law and constitutes a war crime under the statute of International Criminal Court, particularly when it leads to serious injury or death. This practice is known as perfidy. It is a form of deception prohibited during hostilities to protect civilians and combatants, though exceptions exist for naval warfare where ships can use flags before revealing the true identity before attacking. So yeah, it's just a Russian war crime happening. So add it to the list. It's not as bad as like Bakhmut or abducting the children or any other heinous things they've done. But yeah, it's a violation of the Geneva Convention. First Day Productions. The 11-year-old asked, if sponges have so many holes, how do they hold water? That's what holds the water. So water has surface tension, right? So if you fill your glass up all the way, you can get like a little dome of water on top. That's the surface tension. That has to do with the way electron sharing happens in that liquid, and it's sort of like a static bond that can hold things together. So if you have something with a lot of holes, you have a lot of surface area. So a lot of surface area in those holes makes for static bonding of the water droplets to those holes. So you're able to amass a huge amount of water that way. So there you go. It's all about surface tension. And surface tension is cool stuff. It's fun to play with it. You know, use surface tension with straws and all those things. So I highly recommend doing that. Lots of things have surface tension. Some stuff has even crazier surface tension. So if you get into like non-Newtonian liquids, where if you put a lot of energy into the surface, it like seizes up and won't let you break through. It's like borax and things like that will be non-Newtonian. But for water has got some pretty crazy stuff with its surface tension. It's fun to play with. And I always annoy my friends by being like surface tension when I float my arms on the water. Chris Taylor, Super Chat, Solitaire licenses, not cheap. Here you go, Boomer. Love you. Thank you. I do have a paid Microsoft Solitaire tournament membership. I do pay for that every year. It's like $19 or something. It used to be free, but I have to destroy everyone's favorite grandmas around the world. So sorry, you little biddies, but I vaporize you in Solitaire tournaments. The thing that amazes me about Solitaire tournaments is you have basically three kinds of participants. You have people who are really good at Solitaire. You have bots, which are impossible to beat. You cannot beat a bot. So the best thing you can do is you can report them and then block them, and hopefully they won't ever join your tournament again. And then you have people who are hopelessly terrible at Solitaire, but for some reason play it all the time. Like it'll show you each person in the rankings, because this tournament's about 100 people each. It'll show you like how many first place finishes, second place finishes, third place finishes, top 10, top 25, top 50, and top 100. And you'll see people that have been playing nonstop every day for a decade or more who've never had a top 10 finish. Like they're so bad at Solitaire, but they got like 1,700 days of tournaments in there, and they've never finished in a top 10. Some have never even finished the top 25, but they still go through. And like I'll finish a tournament in, let's say, 17 minutes, right? And you know, Grandma Boo Boo is down at the bottom. She finished that tournament in 4 hours and 19 minutes. She placed number 100, and it's her like 600th time she's finished in the top 50 or top 100. And you're like, huh? How have you not gotten better at this? Can you not move? Are you a sloth and you just can't move the mouse across the screen to click on things? But anyway, I vaporize those folks, and yeah. Katie in Houston, what's the current Solitaire meta? Any new strats or techs you can share? Well, there's a difference between playing a random game of solitaire and playing like a tournament game. Tournament games, they can be won. Not all solitaire games can be won. So if you play a tournament game as if it can be beaten, you're gonna have a different strategy for it. So like, depending on if it's like easy, medium, hard, or expert, you can have different ways of going about it. Do you guys really want me to play a round of solitaire on here? I'm gonna show you how it's done. Un momento, por favor. All right, I'll play all five games on just the daily games thing, and we can just kind of see how it goes there. Because this way I can talk through it without having to truly do things. Okay, so I got to close that. I'm going to put that right there for the moment. I'm going to switch to this. That's looking weird over there. Okay, so if I go to, gotta add source, media file, video capture, game alert box, chat box, stream label, so display capture, window capture. That's what I want. Okay, add source, add a new source. I'll call that Solitaire. Add source, window, solitaire. Bam. Okay, there we go. All right, so then I had to move this thing over here. That's the only one I'm gonna make that work. Then I gotta put you into that window and make you big. Boom. Okay, that is definitely too big. Now we gotta make it fit. Okay, and now we got to put you below the main cam and the monkey cam. There we go. All right, so okay. So this doesn't have tri-peaks on here. How do I click on solitaire again? I've got to actually, if I move that, like, there we go. Okay, so there we go. That's going to be it. On this side, sorry, on the Twitch side, things are very messed up. Okay, you gotta get smaller because you are the monkey cam. No one cares about you. You go like that. You go like, get smaller. Get smaller. Come over here. Get smaller. On the Twitch side, I'm trying to take great care in how you. Oh shit! Nope. All right, that'll have to do. Okay, so if you go to the daily challenges, which you can't really see on your screen, they'll pop up. You get some of these easy, medium, hard, medium, easy, regular solitaire, straight up Klondike solitaire. If it's on the easy mode, you can pretty much do whatever the hell you want, and you're going to end up winning this game without thinking at all. When it gets to medium and hard, you're going to have to do a couple of tricky things like put stuff up here and then take them back down again. But the quickest thing you do is just look what you can move. All right, so basically, those are the guys I can move. Done. Click a card. Put those up there, and you basically just go through, and that's it. It's just a very quick. And sometimes my finger double clicks on things. But another key is whenever you got a king, you always just get out of the way. Like don't take a king from the top until you take the kings from the stacks, and then you're good to go. If you're playing a harder version, like this is on easy right now, but if you're playing a hard version and you have the opportunity to move this guy here, don't necessarily do it. All right, leave it there and wait to see if a red jack comes up, because these things in hard come up in threes, and you need to move one in order to change which cards come up. So it ends up being to your benefit a lot of times to leave the jack, say, here and wait for one to come up from above. On an easy version, you can pretty much move whatever you want, but we'll kind of play it as if, we're assuming that it's harder than it really is, but it's not. It's going to be extremely easy. So we can move all these guys over. We can move everything, keep moving stuff. So now we see we can actually do an open spot, so we can move that sucker over, because it's better to move the king off and open up one of these than anything else. So yeah, so There we go. Got another king coming, but can't do anything with it. 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 Oh shit, that's one I missed right there. That happens all the time also. But it's okay on an easy version because I'm talking, I'm not actually paying attention to what I should be doing. Yeah, you just kind of hammer through. When you're playing on easy, you can pretty much almost get away with all sorts of mistakes and no one really cares. It doesn't really affect your game at all. But, so yeah, burn it. Boom, boom. In an easy version, just move everything you can all the time. And it'll generally work out in the end for you. So, boom, boom, boom. And now things will start moving real fast. I always like to move ones from the bigger things to the smaller things if I can. Oops, can't do anything like that yet. There we go. This will open it all up. Boom. Shabam, bang, bing, bong, bong, bing, bong, bing, bong, bing. All right, there we go, and solve. So I would have done that probably in like a minute 15 if I wasn't talking the entire time. For some reason, Spider Solitaire seems to be the one that people have the most problems with when it comes to like a solitaire game itself, like in the tournaments. I don't know why. To me, it's the one that makes the most sense and it seems to be easiest. I love it when I've got two to four suits because then it's more of a challenge. But basically, you just stack them as fast as you possibly can. And you don't really have to think about it much unless you're in hard or above. But yeah, just go, 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 go. And people are really excited. I'm playing a game of solitaire here, and they're like, "Oh, this is fantastic! It's now a group event, isn't it?" But and when I get to things like this, where I have like a 9 on a 4 stack and I have 3 stack, I usually like to move the ones on the higher stack because it gives you. I don't know, it's a weird. If you do the math, the probability of getting a good card, the odds are higher. It's a very strange math behind it, but I don't want to go through that right now. But if you have to take a probability course, you will soon discover that and be like, holy shit, that's really weird how that works out. Yeah, 8. That looks like all I can do there. Keep going. Okay, boom. Can't move any 7s. I want to move that guy so I get that 7 over there, and I'm just going to move this whole stack so I can make a whole bunch of stuff disappear. So, oops, that was the wrong one. So the points, you get 100 points every single time you clear a stack, and you lose a point every time you move a card. So if this is on a very, very, very hard version, you kind of want to minimize how many cards you move oftentimes. But this is a medium, so who gives a shit? This is easy peasy lemon squeezy mode. So, actually, I don't want to do that one. I want to do this one because I want to open up a card before I do anything else. There we go. Okay. And then I hate when the king stack there, but that's what they do. Shaboing, shaboing, come on. Give me, I'll take that 6. I'll move that one there, I'll move that one there, I'll move that one there, and I'll go like that, and I'll do that, and I'll move that over there, and I'll clear that guy. So all I'll do is clear one more. So we're pretty good. So, and I got plenty of points left. I can, well, if I do 5 moves, I'm out. But here we go, 1, 2, I can move that guy and win the game. There we go. So, boom, done. That's all out of the way. These ones, when you're playing free cell, every single free cell game is possible. There is not a single one that cannot be completed ever. So if you're not playing a tournament or whatever, and you're just playing like the old free cell version, that you get free cell playing game number 64,500, whatever. That's because there's a possible number of combinations the cards can be laid out in, and every single game can be beaten. Every single one. It may take you 25 minutes, but it can be done. So for the most part, when playing this, and this is on hard and expert for this one, all comes down to the first few moves, and you can really fuck them up a couple of times and have to like reverse back and redo it all. But your goal is you want to get as many of the aces up there as possible right off the bat. And oftentimes if you just look for the row that allows you to do that, then you're good to go. So I'm going to look for this one. This one says to me it's got 2 aces and I can clear the 2 and the 3 and get them out of the way. So I'm going to try that one and see what happens there. So, oops, oh shit. So then I got to get this dude yonder. First, I am going to just kind of clear some of this stuff here. I've never actually done this with an audience before, so I don't really know how my thought process works when dealing. Yeah, that's what I'm gonna do. I think I'm going to get hit in the boot. I may have gone with the wrong instinct off the bat, but that's what happens. Sometimes you just kind of go, whoops. Okay, so the 2 is over there. I can clear that one, which means I can clear that one, and I can clear that and that. So that's gone, that's gone, that's gone. Boom. Okay. What I want to look for now are red jacks. I red jack there, red jack there. So I want to be able to clear this 10 out of the way, but I can't really do that at the moment until I get the 2 of spades up. The 2 of spades is there. So I may be able to do this. And things will be okay. So that's gone, that's gone. I can move that over there. Done. Okay. I still want access to a red jack. What I'm going to do is I'm going to put this king down. I'm going to stick these 2 guys up there. Slide that one over, and there we go. All right. Now I can clear up there. Now I need to get to the ace, which I can do now because I can move that guy over. And this whole thing can disappear. Boom, boom. All right. Now it's pretty easy. We can just kind of consolidate everything and we're cool to go. Bam, bam, boom, and shabam, boom. Now it's going to clear itself. Done. So we did a hard one in less than 2 minutes. Fantastic. That's pretty good. Usually get awards if you do it in less than 5. So, okay. Now comes my 2 least favorite games, which are the Pyramid and Tri-Peaks. These ones just don't pose a challenge, really, ever. I'm on medium here. Yeah, medium, you can just turn your brain off. Easy, you really can turn your brain off. And easy, you can just make any combination you want. So the goal is you need to make combinations of 13. So king is 13, right? An ace and a queen, so if queen's 12, ace is 1, that's 13. 6 and 7 makes 13, 8 and 5 makes 13. So I can clear this entire front board here, or front row, in one go, and that's pretty awesome. And 2 and 11 are 13, and now I don't have anything to do, so I can finally click on a card. That doesn't do anything, that doesn't do anything, that doesn't do anything. There's an 8 and a 5, boom. Nothing, 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 boom. Nothing, nothing, boom. Nothing, nothing, nothing. Okay, so sometimes you want to look at what's behind. In this case, if I click this guy, I now have the ace to clear that. So that's probably what I'm going to do. I'm going to click the 9 and the 4. That makes 13. Ace and that. Boom. And that opens things up. So now when I get to my next 9, I can clear the jack and the 2. So I'm looking for a 3, a 5, and a 9. All right, there's a 3. Bam. There's a 5. Bam. There's my 9, 4. That clears. Okay. Nope, nope, nope. There's my 6. Whoops. 6. That clears. That clears. And so I need a 7. And now I need a 4. So we'll cycle through until we get a 4. Where are you, 4? There you are. And you're allowed 3 turns through this whole thing. So there's my 3 there. Or at least one of the 3s. I need a queen. Bam, bam, bam. Done. So I have to clear 2 boards in this. It's so easy and so quick so often. A lot of times people have to like do the math in their heads constantly, and I don't really know why. It should just kind of become innate at some point. So all I can do is I need a 9 and a 4. I can't really do anything else until then. Sorry, a 9 and a jack. So there's my jack. Oops, bam, bam, bam. Okay, so now I need a jack and a 9. Jack and a 9. There's a jack. Now I need 9s and a 2. So sometimes you can clear them from here and it'll open stuff up. You always want to look and see if there's like, say, a whole bunch of queens or a whole bunch of aces back here, and you may want to save them. At this point, there'll be plenty of queens, so I'll just do that and get out of my way. There's my 9. Okay, there's another 4. I'll take the 4 from here and save that 4 for that one. And yeah, there we go. All right, most exciting thing in the world. Houston's playing solitaire in front of everybody. Okay. Boom, boom, boom. I need 8 and a 7. Come on, 8 and a 7. There's an 8. There's my 7. Bam, 4. Boom. Bam. There's another 5. Bam. There's a 9 and 4. Boom. Oh, there's my 2. Oops. And then the king is all by itself. Bam, done. So I don't know how fast we finished that one. How fast was it? Usually they put the time in here. Oh, no time. Oh, well, whatever. And then my least of my least favorites is tri-peaks. I'd rather play the games where they have like you play for points, because those ones have to do with like how many combinations you get in a row. But this is basically you can select one that's up or down in sequence. And so like looking at this board, I can go Jack, Queen, King, Ace, and I get 4 of them. Or I can go Jack, 10, 9, and get 2. So I'm probably going to go Queen, King, Ace, and that opens up that back one at least. And then I can do 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 4, 5. That does it there. Or I could do 2 Ace and open up 1 there, which I'm going to stick with that one. Then I can do Jack, 10, 9, 10, 9, 8, 7, 8. That's what I'm going to go with. Okay. There's Queen, Jack, Queen, King, Queen, Jack, Queen. And 5, 4, 5, 4. When this one gets harder, you really have to figure out which cards you have to open up where, and that can determine whether you can actually finish the thing, because you will run out of cards eventually. So I'm looking for a 7 or a 9. There's my 7, and now I need an Ace or a Queen. There's a Queen. Bam. Okay, now I clear one more of these easy as fuck card things. So that just comes down to just recognizing like where the cards are. So I'm gonna do 4, 3, 4, 5, 6. No 7s, bummer. Queen. See, I can do Queen, King, Ace, King, or I can do Queen, Jack. And I'm actually gonna do Queen, Jack because I can clear these guys if I get a Queen or a 2, which gives me 1 in 7 odds. And I can just clear this guy out of the way, and then I've opened up another one there. So that's what I'm going to do. So there's the Queen. So see, it usually pops up that way, especially in the easy version. If you select that, it'll work either way, but this way will be faster. And then you can clear either one of these. I clear the one that has 2, because that gives you higher odds of getting a 7 or a 9 to clear things. So go like that. Clear that guy, clear that guy, clear that guy. Bam. Oops. Boom. So I just need something low. Bam, bam, bam. Oh, one more 2 or one more King. There's the King. Done. So it's all determined. You do this like 30 times, and you aren't talking to people while doing it. And you go really fast, and then grandmas hate you. And that's how it goes. Ta-da! All right, there it is. We're going to go back to doing a normal show again, because I don't know why I am... Okay, there we are. There. Boom. All right. How can I bet on this? Do you play Baccarat? I never played Baccarat, so no, I don't. It took the buy button 5 years ago, and now I watch Solitaire online. Iggy Houston, talk about the best way to haggle over your dream ship box. I don't haggle. I buy ship boxes at auction. So that's how I usually buy my cars. Is I go, oh, that's a ship box. I bet I get that for a fraction of the price I can off Craigslist, and then I'll have to do all sorts of repairs on it. When's the last time I bought a car? Well, I bought my Corvette from a dude. I didn't really do any haggling on it because he was already selling it for freakishly too low. So this was like 2008. Was it 2018 I bought the Corvette Monkey? Or Kitty? You got a picture on it once. I was like, let's see if we can find ourselves a Corvette. It'd be fun. It's summertime. I want a convertible. Always wanted to have a shitty C4 Corvette. And I did. And I found an 88 down in Beaverton, Oregon for $3,700. It was a convertible. Had 128,000 miles on it. And I was like, 3,700? Whatever work I have to do on it. This will be fine. So I went down. It was a total piece of shit. Like, it needed a new top for sure. It was kind of like rough and little holes here and there. So I did the math for investment in a top. And but for the most part, everything else seemed pretty solid. Had good pull on it, whatever. And so I paid the dude $3,700. And now, you know, that same car in the same condition, I'm seeing everywhere for like 6,000-7,000. I drove for a couple years. One thing I did not realize was that the EGR hose was not the manufacturer EGR hose that like has a nice little bend to it. If you know what the EGR system is, it's the emissions gas reclamation, something like that. It takes hot exhaust and pumps it back through the engine to get recombusted, and it takes out a whole bunch of pollutants that way. So it's an environmental control system. And so this like 1,000-degree gas is getting pumped back into the engine to be re-exploded. And somebody had replaced the actual EGR hose, and I just was not paying attention to this, and it was not the right hose and had a kink in it. So it was bent. So all its pressure was building up behind this thing. And one day, as I'm pulling back into my driveway, the engine just turns off. And it's because that hose went pop and flooded the engine with like 1,000-degree freshly exploded exhaust and melted every piece of electronics in the car. And so it just died. Like, luckily I got just off the street and it died in the driveway. I was going to have to do a very, 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 very expensive rebuild / swap out the electric harnesses, the engine, everything. So I sold it on eBay, and just for whatever price the dude, it was something like $1,200. You know, I basically was like, engine fucked, and someone paid $1,200 for it, and the guy got it, and he was like, this engine's fucked. I think I told you, man. Like, no complaining about the $1,200 brick I just sent you. I told you, engine's fucked. So yeah, I don't really haggle. The best thing you do is do searches all over the country. So like, we're coming up on the anniversary of me flipping my truck in the desert, the 10th anniversary of me almost dying in the desert. When I got my insurance check, I went looking for a truck, similar truck, like 2000 F-150 is what I was driving. And I bought my F-150, it was a 2000 F-150, I bought it in 2008, and I ended up getting it for $4,400. It was cherry when I bought it, and then I slowly destroyed it over the next 7-8 years. When I was looking for it in 2015, I'm looking for a 2000 F-150, and they were like $12,000. Like, the price had gone up $6,000 or more, and I'd gotten a check back actually for more than I paid for the truck. I got a check for like almost $7,000. And so I widened my search, because in the local area, they're all $11,000, $12,000, $13,000 for that same F-150. And I searched all over the country. Auto Tempest is a great way to search all over, because it will give you all of everything on eBay, everything on cars.com, everything on Auto Trader, everything on Craigslist. It started doing Facebook Marketplace as well. By the time Inland Empire, California, for some reason, like Arcadia, Ontario in there, these trucks were like $3,000 to $5,000. They had a shitload of highway miles on them, but who cares about highway miles? I care about is, will the suspension not kill me? And can I beat the shit out of it? And lo and behold, all these dudes got really expensive lift kits on their trucks, did 200,000 miles of highway driving to work, and then selling them for like $10,000 less than here in Seattle, which had trucks that were thoroughly more abused and were thousands of dollars more. So for $76, I bought a one-way ticket to Ontario, California. And then my sister actually met me at the airport and drove me to the first place one of these dudes was selling this giant jacked up 2000 F-150 with, 35-inch tires and a 6-inch lift and all this stuff. It was for $3,800. And it's like a scary part of East LA where he was. And he was like, everyone's too scared to come here and look at my truck. And I was like, oh, it's been up there for a while. I was like, yeah, it's been up for like a month and no one will come look at it. You're the first person. I'm like, oh, because I'm too stupid to know that I'm in a dangerous neighborhood. Took the truck for a drive, worked great. I offered him $3,400. He was like, yes. So saved $400. Spent $400 in gas driving back home and saved myself in the end probably $8,000 or $9,000 on buying the same truck in the Seattle area. So if you're willing to look elsewhere and just get that one-way airline ticket, and you got a weekend you can drive back home, that's another great way to do it. So yeah. So SS Leah, you're normally L. Yo there, can you go step by super chats? Can you go step by step what you do once you open up your brokerage account and there's 6 figures in your account due to MOAS? 6 figures in the entire account, or for what the stock is? So like, there's a couple ways to look at that. Like if you got a whole bunch of crooked numbers going for just the share price, I'd start looking at what the volume was that day and what you think the naked volume is, or the naked number of naked shares or short interest volume is for that stock. So if it's a stock like GameStop, where you probably have 1 billion or more counterfeit shares out there, I would look at when the volume over a couple of days gets to maybe 2 billion, somewhere in there, because there's gonna be a lot of trading back and forth and stuff bouncing, but probably 1 billion of that 2 billion is going to be legit closing. And if that gets to that point, well, dump it. That's what I'm gonna do. If you're talking about cash, like it's BBBY, they are DK Butterfly, and they're sending you a whole bunch of cash due to waterfall payments, and you got just piles in there. I'm probably going to take a hefty amount of that, not all of it, because you know, depending how much the payout is. If the payout's like $10, well, okay, so I got $150,000 cash, cool. That can pay off some school debt, whatever. I'll probably still take a good chunk of that and buy GME calls with it. We're not too far out, probably a month, 6 weeks out, because right now it's a really low volatility, so I can buy a boatload of them for that. If it's like millions, if we have like millions in our accounts from that, I would be buying tens of thousands of GameStop, like in the money GameStop calls, to basically force a gamma just by myself. I know that a lot of other people will be doing it. So that's what I would do. And then if you got tens of thousands of those calls and the stock price goes up $10, you are filthy, filthy, filthy rich. And you can keep going, but I don't have any interest in keep going. Once I get to filthy rich status, done. I will take everything I have and stick it into a Vanguard. Now, if you are looking at GTFOing, which I may do, because there's 2,000 hours of me calling Donald Trump a piece of shit on the internet, and with the way the authoritarianism is going, I will be a target at some point. So I may want to bail. There's lots of ways you can bail. You can just straight up leave, right? And then you can face problems with accounts being seized, whatever. It probably wouldn't be a bad idea to explore international corporations. So you can, for about $3,000, you can pay a lawyer to incorporate a company, a holdings company for you in, Belize, Caymans, Panama, whatever. And usually once you incorporate there, right, you've got your shell company .yahoo at llc.com, whatever. It takes 7 to 21 days to get approval from that nation to open a bank account. And if you can open a bank account, then you can have a shell company here that you open. You put everything you have in it. Just dump everything into some sort of South Dakota hidden shell company, holdings company. All of your stocks, all of your cash, everything is now dumped into that. So then when tax time comes along, you can say, yes, I started a new company. It cost me $5 million to start this company, right? And it's all under this LLC in Wyoming or South Dakota or Delaware. And then you can have your holding company in the Caymans merge and absorb your holding company in North Dakota, and then everything ends up in the Caymans. Done, right? It's sold, money's gone, no one can touch it ever again. And at this point, with the way the US dollar is going, the quicker you probably transfer that into euros or Swiss francs or some other stronger currency, the more you'll have left in the end. Because if you're holding on to US dollars, you're going to be losing probably 8% a year or more compared to euros. Like, remember the other day I showed you how Bitcoin has grown by 15% under euros, but has grown by 30 under dollars. That's because the US dollar is getting that much weaker against the euro and Swiss franc. So it might behoove you to get into a stronger currency and hold that, and then worry about getting your stocks and bonds and things like that. Once you have a bank account in offshore in like some place like the Caymans or Belize, you can then open a brokerage account there and have it be an offshore holdings company doing trading in U.S. markets if you want to. Something like 30% of all the bondholders are in the Caymans. 30% of all the stock traders are in the Caymans. So they're doing a whole amount of business outside that outsizes that nation's size because of all the people who have done exactly that and moved crap overseas. Now, if we didn't have a shitty Nazi running the country, I wouldn't even bother considering it. I wouldn't. Like, I would rather have my tax dollars go to the society that can help improve things. I'd rather help people. I'd rather be established here with my friends and family. But the way things are going is your tax dollars are not going to go to help people. They're going to go to build private prisons, scapegoat minorities and immigrants. And I would rather not have my money go to that. So, yeah. So there you go. So think about that. There's some things you can do. Okay. What else are we? Julie says, play solitaire, silly. All right. LMT, sorry. Why did IEP go down on BBBY news? Some people are saying that, that stuff is all tied together. That you got BBBY, IEP, GME, and others, possibly in some giant, orgy of stock trading going on. I don't know. Chris Taylor, use of GMGF having a small run this past month. Any insight as to why? I don't know. They've done some dilution in the last month. That was the last thing we saw. It's been a while since we looked up GMG, MF, GMG Manufacturing Group, the Graphene Manufacturing Group. See what we got happen in their news here. News, press releases. Okay, so they haven't done anything since July. So Doug Hargreaves joined GMG's Technical Advisory Committee. Graphene ion patented grant. Aluminum ion patent granted. So they got their patent back in July. And University of Queensland in new collaboration over it. This is their offering they did back in July. We read that one. So that was the last thing I did. What we got in the media releases? Anything new? So June, production, lubricant, battery development, thermal. I don't know. They haven't had anything for the last month. They did like a $20 million raise. That might have been Australian dollars or Canadian dollars. I can't quite tell because they're trading on the Canadian exchange. Not a clue. Not a clue why they're going up. Maybe someone big is getting in there because they realize that lithium-ion batteries on the way out and solid state are the way in. Don't know. Not a clue there, Chris. And Chris says, hey, yo. Viva says, good day, sir. Teddy4168. Hi, my internet was out for 2 days. I figured out that the Ethernet cord wasn't fully plugged in. Has this ever happened to you? More times than you know. Oh, my goodness. I'm like, what's going on? And he discovered that a cable got kicked loose or whatever. Or like, I have a mesh system in the house. And so I have one of the mesh little routers right underneath my desk. And what I have is I have an Ethernet cable plugged into that. And then that plugs into a switch that then plugs into the computer and into the printer. Because the printer's not wireless, and I'd rather have the computer just on a tethered connection than have to worry about dealing with all the mesh signals all around. And the internet was dead. I'm like, what the fuck? So I unplugged it, and the wireless is working fine. And then discover that the AC plug in the back of the switch had just gotten loose, and that wasn't on. Just, yeah, it happens all the time, man. All the time. Monthly. Yeah, monthly. Love your show. It's become part of my everyday routine. Keep up the good work. Well, thank you. J-Dog, dual streams. Which one did I choose? If you like see me vertical, you want to see me sideways. That's best pick. Teddy, what and where was the best pad thai you ever had? You know, I like pad thai, but when I go to a Thai restaurant, I generally don't order it. My little sister orders it. That's her go-to. Sawadee here in the island back in the day did really, really solid Thai food. It's kind of fallen off over the years as like the Thai family members have retired or moved away, and then like a bunch of white kids come in and do the cooking. But usually when I go to a Thai restaurant, I usually get a curry of some kind because I'm a curry monster. So it's like Musulman curry, Muslim curry. When I went to school in Hilo, there was a place called, I think it was called Garden Thai. It was this little hole in the wall, and they had a seafood curry that was cooked in a hollowed out pineapple, and it was heavenly. We're talking like big chunks of all sorts of fish, shrimp, crab, etc. in this hollowed out pineapple. And back then, you know, it's 20 plus years ago, it was $30 for this thing, which was, you know, $15 to $20 more than any other dish you'd get on a menu. And if I ate it, that meant I was not going to eat other food during the week because I was going to be too poor. And I did it all the time. I foregoed other meals so I could have this thing, and it was incredible. And then sadly, they went out of business at some point. I don't know why, maybe because I moved away. That's why they went out of business, because I wasn't paying $30 for seafood curry constantly. But it was really, really, really good. And like getting stewed in that pineapple, just oh, it was amazing. It was amazing. Yes, so good. So, but yeah, I've never had a pad thai that like truly rocked my world, which is why I generally don't order it. But I think if you're a pad thai person, there are pad thais that rock your world. Curry rocks my world, so that's why I get curry all the time. And my middle name is literally Curry. And I don't know if that was an omen or a portent or a prescient of my family or what, but there we go. Okay. Chris Taylor says, your connection much better at a new place. I haven't seen Max Headroom in a while. Yeah. In my old place, I was broadcasting, like, my room was behind the chimney, which is a big giant brick thing, and my office was. And so I think the wireless signal, even getting to my mesh, having mesh around, kept trying to get through the fireplace and just didn't work as well up there. And so when other people got on the internet, they easily took all the bandwidth, and what meager amounts I had trying to get through the fireplace just didn't make it. And there we go. I couldn't play online games there. I just couldn't. I would get destroyed because my lag time was so high. My ping was terrible. And here I could play online games if I want to. And I can do really well because I have like 0 ping. Right, fat boy? Yeah. Bite my nose? Yep. So gross. All right. Oh, I got to get going here in a minute. Promise my mom was going to help her with some chore she has before I got to go to work. So I can do a couple more and then I've got to vanish. Viva Gabe, do you think we'll have GME volatility this week or nah? There are swaps coming due. So we got swaps. I don't know why there hasn't been much movement. I mean, GME went up today. It hit 23 and change. And all the options lost value. That's like, because the implied volatility is dropping so much. Where is my GME? Let's do GME options chain. Let's see where implied volatility is at the moment. Okay, so this is for this week. 23s. So the price is at 23.09. And the 23s are at the exact same price they were at close on Friday when it was like 23.80. So the price went up almost like 18, 19 cents, and they lost value because implied volatility is at 30% now. That is freakishly low. Like, I don't know if I've ever seen it that low since the sneeze. Like, have you? I have not seen it this low ever. It is really freaky. Like, if this thing moves a little bit, you can get these 23.5s for 18 cents. Jesus. That is mind-boggling. Like, what's up for next week? 29th? Yeah, it's only 60 cents. So implied volatility is still in the 30s. That is wild. Well, I never. Don't you dare. You're volatile. Your implied volatility is at 900% right now, you little freak. That's what's happening with you. Huh. I'm at a loss of words here. Okay. We do one more, then I'm running away. Teddy asks, with various fast foods downsizing, do you think that McDonald's will be still around in 50 years? I do. They'll figure it out. You know, they got a lifetime of marketing on their hands. What McDonald's problem is they did what Vegas did. They went premium. And they're not premium. They're dog shit. And they need to recognize they're dog shit and sell dog shit food. Like $1.99 Happy Meals. Because we talked about this. McDonald's has lazy people, poor people, and children. That's their entire demographic. They're not getting connoisseurs. They're not getting like gastro pub people. Like they're getting lazy people, they're getting poor people, and they're getting children. Right? The poor people have left. They can't afford it anymore. They're gone. Right? The lazy people, they're leaving too because it's taking fucking forever to make a meal. So now you're left with children. And if the parents can't afford their Happy Meals, then they're going to lose those guys too. So in Vegas used to be screaming deals. You go get, all you can eat shrimp for $2.99, $2.99 T-bone steaks, $1.99 breakfasts, right? And after the global financial crisis, they started marketing to an international crowd, a wealthy international crowd, looking for whales, and everything started getting priced out of everyone's ability to afford it. The whole point of these casinos offering these like $1.99 specials and all you can eat shrimp buffets and whatever was you took some of your profits from gambling, you put it on perks like free drinks and cheap food, and then people will come in for the free drinks and cheap food and spend a fortune on gambling. Well, now the food costs a fortune, and they don't have enough money to gamble. So, like, everything's a Michelin-starred restaurant. You're looking at $80 for breakfast somewhere, and they can't afford the hotel rooms, and the resort fees are insane. So you like get a $99 a night hotel room, ends up costing you $200 a night because of the resort fees, and people don't have the money left over to like spend gambling, so they don't go to Vegas anymore. And with international travel way down, you're not going to get those international whales because they're going to come here. They're going to go to Macau. They're going to go to Monaco. They're going to go, wherever else they go. And they're just not going to come to the U.S. anymore. So like Vegas, just like McDonald's, has to have a come to Jesus and realize they've got to make it cost effective for people, and then they'll come. That's it. You want to make that money off of slot machines and table games and everything, you have to make it so that they want to come. And if they can't afford it, they're not going to come. They'll go to the local native casino and hang out there where they can still get screaming deals on buffets and stuff. So, isn't that right, you little stinker? Like, you wouldn't come here if the drugs were expensive, would you? No, you would not. Okay. All right. Twitch ignored again. I'm sorry, Polestar. The Twitch stream doesn't... Oh, wait. Multi-stream packed up again. Oh, my God. It was gone for a long time. Now multi-stream is back. Okay, so I can actually look at the Twitch feed again. Next show I will see Twitch feed again because it was gone. It wouldn't let me see the Twitch wing. It only let me see YouTube for the last month. Okay, well, everybody, you guys have a great day, and I'll see you at some point tomorrow. Right? Tomorrow's Tuesday. Yeah, see you tomorrow. Okay. Where's my? We'll do that.
Houston, we have a problem.
Look at those nipples. Look at those nipples. Nurple, 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 nurple.